Ferrari didn't lose the podium. They handed it over willingly. What if I told you the critical mistake wasn't when Hamilton pitted, but why he did? While fans saw slicks go on at lap 42, what they missed was the coded radio silence before. Just seconds earlier, Lewis questioned tire temps and rain radar. No reply. Then out of nowhere, box. But here's the twist. The data shows the interior still had life. And Hülkenberg, he stayed out one more lap. That was the lap that buried Ferrari Sunday. Hamilton's own words tell the story. It's like building a wall and knocking it down. This wasn't misfortune. It was a calculated call from a team flying blind. Literally. Their GPS failed after lap 10, and they were guessing Hamilton's position. A Ferrari team guessing during a rain-hit Silverstone? That's not strategy. That's sabotage via incompetence. For snaps per corner, not instability, insistence. Lewis called it snapping, sapping, snapping, as if the Ferrari itself was rebelling. But dig into the telemetry from Sector 2, and you'll see something chilling. The rear-end instability increased after the first pit stop. And not slightly. The rate spiked 18% compared to FP2 baseline. That doesn't happen by chance. What if that snappy balance wasn't an accident, but a response? Insiders whispered all weekend that Hamilton had overruled pre-race balance suggestions. His version of the car? Aggressively low ride height, soft rears, biased brake migration, a setup built for heroics, but in changeable conditions. It becomes a psychological test. The team let him run with it, then left him alone when it started to bite. You're kind of in no man's land, Lewis said. Not just about the handling, but the trust. That's not poor engineering. That's a power struggle. He wasn't chasing Hülkenberg. He was being dragged into the open. Lap 35. Hamilton dives on Stroll. The crowd erupts. But behind the cheers, the telemetry screamed something else. His brake bias suddenly shifted 1.7% rearward mid-corner. Not driver input. Automated delta response. That means Ferrari's system anticipated late braking and adjusted without consent. Why? Because the moment he cleared Stroll, he became visible. The hunter exposed. Now the world would watch him reel in Hülkenberg. But here's the trick. His tires were already on the edge, soaked in temperature from dirty air and failed cooling logic. The chase was doomed before it began. Why didn't Ferrari tell him? Why send him on the undercut knowing the interiors were still superior for another lap? Simple. They needed proof that Hamilton's call wouldn't work, not support evidence. As he put it, you try to build confidence, then it just collapses. No data, no accountability, total control. When Ferrari admitted their GPS system failed after lap 10, the paddock barely blinked. But look again. That failure gave them exactly what they needed, the power to make blind calls, deflect blame, and control the narrative. Here's what really happened. Without positional data, Ferrari couldn't triangulate Hamilton's true gap to Hülkenberg, or so they claimed. Yet radio logs revealed they still had full sector timing, meaning they knew enough to wait. They just didn't, because in that moment, the team could hide behind the fog. We didn't know where Lewis was. Translation, we acted without consequences. And it worked. Hülkenberg stayed out, got clean air, perfect temps, and extended the overcut. Hamilton, he emerged behind Leclerc again. GPS failure didn't cost them a podium. It shielded them from admitting they never wanted one. The broadcast ended before the warning, but the data didn't lie. On lap 46, just after Hamilton's final off-track excursion, Sky Sports played a fragment of his radio. This car is so hard to drive, snappy like crazy. But the final sentence was edited out. Team insiders confirmed what came next. We've got to stop this cycle. Next year starts now. A coded message. Not frustration, a warning. Hamilton wasn't talking about just the car. He was talking about the relationship, the dynamic, the loop of instability disguised as progress. He had just lost 3.2 seconds from a rear slide at turn 3. The delta shattered, but instead of silence came strategy instructions, dry tires, undercut attempt. It wasn't coordination. It was decoy. Because when Hamilton said no man's land, he wasn't lost. He was isolated, made to look like the problem, while the team hid behind technical limitations. Ferrari didn't just misread the race. They wrote him out of it. The podium wasn't stolen. It was handed off to protect an illusion. Let's strip away the fairy tale. Nico Hülkenberg's first podium in 239 races wasn't just a feel-good moment. It was a shield, a distraction, the kind that makes fans cheer loud enough to ignore the scream beneath. Here's what the numbers say. Hülkenberg stopped 1 lap after Hamilton. Same window, same tires, but his outlap delta was 4.6 seconds quicker. That's not just tires. That's clean air, perfectly primed track temp, and no traffic. Ferrari could have mirrored it. Hamilton asked for more laps. Instead, they boxed early, knowing he'd hit the crossover point too soon. That left him skating, oversteering, exposed. Because the real threat wasn't Nico. It was the narrative that Hamilton, in the rain, could erase SA, Alpine, and Aston Martin. Despite the